And James Boys joins us now from London. He is a visiting fellow at King's College London and specializes in the American system of government. James, good to talk to you. Let me start with something I said before going to Patty's piece. The idea that Michelle Obama, or Ann Romney for that matter, could have a major impact on this campaign. I don't believe it. Do you believe that? For a minute, people are voting for the President of the United States, not the First Lady.
It is rather remarkable, isn't it, to be honest? But one needs to remember that one of the more disturbing traits to have emerged in recent years is that when Americans go to the polls, one of the foremost questions they ask is not who has the better policies, but who would I rather have a beer with? Yes. Remarkable though that may sound. And one of the roles of the First Lady or would-be First Lady is being to humanize their husbands and remove from them the stigma of being a cool technocrat in both cases in this instance. So they certainly serve a purpose, and vitally, of course, they're trying desperately to appeal to the female voters in America who will be playing a very important role in deciding who becomes the next president of the United States.
Okay, James. So Michelle Obama speaking, Ann Romney speaking at their respective conventions. I'm not altogether comfortable with it, but what's your take on the role? And I think you just mentioned how they function in the political context. What's your take on it?
Well, you've seen an emerging and evolving role for First Ladies. One only needs to go back 40 or 50 years to see a much more traditional role of a traditional housewife in the White House, if you will. And I think one can imagine John F. Kennedy, for example, squirming at the very thought of putting his wife up to do something similar like this. He used to loathe it when Dick Nixon put his wife Pat up to do anything similar. But what you've seen over the last decade or two is an increasing professionalism of politicians, and along with it their wives. If you think back to 1992, for example, Bill Clinton made a famous role when he said effectively, buy one, get one for free. And Hillary Clinton, I think, has personified that idea of a professional politician's wife. And Michelle Obama arguably is the latest incarnation of that, talking less about policies, but certainly having a very important role in a husband's professional and political life.
So let me pick up on that. From the moment they step on that stage, I wonder what your view of this is. Are they political operatives? I think the answer to that is yes. And if they are their views and past statements and even issues that they may have advocated for in the past fair game for reporter scrutiny?
They certainly have become. It's important to recognize that each individual would-be First Lady selects their role they want to play. So if you look back to Laura Bush, for example, she had a much quieter role to play, yes, behind the scenes particularly, especially contrast that with Hillary Clinton, who she succeeded. But Michelle Obama, for example, made a number of statements in the 2008 campaign. And I think that if they choose to put themselves forward to advocate their husbands, as they are doing on an increasingly regular basis, that they are fair game. Some wives have even sat in on cabinet meetings. Bill Clinton put Hillary, for example, in charge of his initial health care plans. So when they are politicized, then they certainly do become fair game, I think.
All right, James, you're going to be back with us a little later in the broadcast, though. Until then, thank you very much.